full scale, we get even more detail, of course.
Yeah. I mean, well, how long does it take you to make something like this? I mean, how many guys do you have in your shop working on, you had how many firemen, and then you had all these aliens that were in the spaceship and all that kind of stuff. How long does that take?
We oftentimes we'll, when we do our bid, that we get asked that question, how long is it going to take? And usually feels like we're always saying, like, if we do a gaggle of aliens, or just move this over here a little bit, maybe. I don't know. Ooh, that's interesting framing.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
If we do a bunch of creatures, oh, look at that! That's the alien from Bob Camp's Alien 5. Love it. His unproduced Alien 5. I'll just sit like this, just
the claws. Yeah.
Your head. I like it. It's good.
So we'll usually say something like we need 6 months, which could include design and sculpture, because along the way you have to please the client, so we never know how long that's going to take. So we have to build that sort of in loosely. But we'll say 6 months, and they'll go, gosh, can you do it in 4? And then we'll go, well, what about, hopefully you settle on somewhere around 5. So my guess is we probably, although in the 90s we had longer pre-production schedules than we do now. But my guess is we did all that work in about 4 or 5 months.
You're on the set then as well, right? With the animatronics and the puppeteering and all that?
Yes, we never, I think only once in our history have we built anything that we just ship off and say, good luck. We in fact, we have taken so much investment in the execution on set, because it's the final step. It's like you wouldn't just turn over your if you were doing CGI, you wouldn't like build a model, create all the infrastructure to animate with it, and then just say hand it to somebody. And Tom Woodruff, who's the co-founder of the company, has traditionally been inside the monster suits. He was the lead guy in this movie, so we have a real good guarantee that we're going to get a good performance. It's going to be directable. Tom's an excellent suit performer, and then also he's not going to be the one who's like saying loudly on set, "This is uncomfortable," I need, and then have an AD run up to me and say, "What's wrong? You better help that guy. Your suits aren't comfortable. What the heck?" Well, it takes a special mentality. And when you have 6 people, like as I recall, we had 6 aliens in suits. You'll find people who have the right physicality for it, meaning the right build, and they can be in good shape and all that, but it's mostly mental. And Tom has a great Zen mental game, because it's claustrophobic. You're hearing servo sounds in there. It's very unpleasant. I've tried it. I'm not cut out for it. So you want to make sure that the lead alien is somebody rock solid who's going to give you a really good performance, and then you can kind of populate the world with, the shot with the rest of the folks who may not have the same skill set, but, good enough, We had a funny story on this show. There was a fellow on it, really nice guy, who just happened to have a very booming voice. And it was a loud kind of, it had a little bit of that nasal quality, so it just could cut through, vast distances. So we did a shot, everybody busting out of the ice, setup. It was a big, tedious setup, but you had all this stuff going on. And it was, big, all 6 of them at the same time. Cut! And we all rushed, and I'm standing there with the director and the producer, and we're analyzing the shot and looking at it, and everything's very quiet. And then I hear him down the hall going, I think I lost my contact lens. He's in the suit, right? I've lost it. If you could just look in the neck, I think it's rolled. It might be on my cheek. He's saying this really loud. And the director looks at me, and I'm like, what can I say? They're doing the best they can.
Okay. So Alec, I was hoping you could kind of walk us through the creative process, specifically for the cavemen with the aliens in their stomach. So
it was the script, and then it was us doing a breakdown of that script to arrive at a build list, and then see, I think we came to the project through Fox rather than through Chris Carter, because Chris Carter had, they had been shooting in Vancouver, so they had local Vancouver shops doing a lot of the stuff and doing great work. But now they're down in LA, so they're like, well, we got to go to somebody in LA, and so we had been doing a bunch of stuff for Fox, including Alien Resurrection and some other things. So we sort of got, moved in on to the film, not exclusively, because K&B was also doing work on X-Files as well. But anyway, we generated all of the design work. There was really nothing. It was just us then, given the opportunity to design those cavemen and the aliens and present them to Chris Carter. And it was Chris, but it was also our director, who I love and am blanking on his name right now. Rob Bowman. Fantastic guy. So, but Chris was the dude, Chris is the man. And so Chris even came to ADI to sculpt with us at one point. When we were doing the firemen, we had the clay, basic clay structure of the firemen, and he was like, looking at pictures and going, can I just come out? And yeah, man, show up. Came out in his white t-shirt and his olive green, cargo pants, maybe flip-flops, I don't know, just really like, I liked him, and sat with us, and we're like, we can pack clay on this. Can it be fatter? Yeah. And so then he's packing clay on it and, making enough room for it. Because it had to have enough room to look like, in various stages, like at some point it's got something that is the size of, a human being in it, maybe even a small human being. So that was a pretty considerable build-up that we had to do. But that's rare for an executive producer and creator to come out and start pounding clay on a sculpture with you.
And I'm sure you've gone through this with other movies. Is it cool when your stuff becomes essentially action figures? Like, I have that action figure.
I have it too.
Yeah. I have the fireman. Like, I mean,
that's
is
right.
it crazy?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, part of it is you look at it and you go like, movies have become commercials for collectibles. With Star Wars, it came like, well, that's the commercial for this was one of the criticisms back in the day. But if you get past that sort of crass commercialism, like, because I've had them, make toys of things that they don't know if the movie's going to be a hit or not, but they got to get a lead on it. They got to make the toys. So then you end up with a My Favorite Martian toy from a movie that bombed, and who cares about the My Favorite Martian? But you got to take a chance. But I do love it when people collect those things, and I love it when to see it, and they generally do a damn good job of interpreting our stuff, reinterpreting it. I've seen little Predator figures, collectibles that are jointed, and people photograph them in settings. And I swear, as I'm looking through on my phone, there's times where I'm like, is that from AVP or is that? Oh no, that's a toy. They're so good. So I do love that. It is a good. It's a nice feeling.
Hearing the animatronics on the set. What kind of challenges did you guys face when you were creating, or while you were filming them?
It's just animatronic, or just a guy in a suit, for instance. That's kind of a self-contained unit, and you suit up your performer. They're wearing an animatronic head, and then they're standing in the set, and we're off a little further away with radio-controlled joysticks, operating facial expressions and stuff. And then it's a lot of maintaining the comfort level of the suit performer, because, as mentioned, these suits can be uncomfortable and restrictive, and you don't want to burn out a suit performer too early in the day. So you want to keep them, give them rests as many times as possible. So I have to like, be the guy that will, I have to have the authority to just run in and yell cut if I see anything with a suit performer. If they look like they're getting wobbly, we'll have a sign like, I'll run in, we'll come in with the team, pop the head off. Sometimes while the camera's rolling and the AD's going, wow, what's going on? We're like, no. Safety of suit performer. Good, you got it, okay. And So there's coordinating like that, and then on top of all that, you're trying to get the aesthetics right. Um, you're trying to get the dynamics of the shot. You're trying to get maybe something that's got energy that is difficult to get with puppetry, and it's a great thing about CGI is that it's dynamic and it can be as like energetic as you want, which is also its problem because it becomes too sometimes, in my opinion, it defies physics and gravity because it's too energetic. The big giant thing moves too quickly, whatever, and it ends up looking phony. So I like the limitations that practical effects give you, but you're always trying to overcome them. If you just if you can't overcome some of these limitations, it just looks like bad work, and there's plenty of bad puppetry that you can see, bad physical practical effects, that you can find out there. But anyway, those are some of the challenges we have on set.
Do you have a favorite memory, or is there a specific story that sticks out for you while you were filming Fight the Future?
I just remember it being the production was very appreciative of us. Rob Bowman had a great sense of humor. It's a very stressful job to direct something that is as complex, that many moving parts. And it was a little unusual because it was more like maybe more like a TV show in its structure. Like in TV, you have the show's creator, a Chris Carter type, who's also the executive producer, and that person has complete control and over everything, right? The creator and writer, right? That's how TV works. In movies, it's the creator, the writer is hired by the studio, and then they get fired, and somebody else comes in and is the writer. And it's the studio that has the power, but the director, it gets a little more power traditionally in feature films than in television. And television tends to be a guest director comes in and does their thing, and builds. Can evolve into a producer, et cetera, and have the control. But anyway, so Rob was in that kind of position of being sort of like, he had directed a bunch of the episodes of the X-Files, I believe, and done great with him. So he knew it was like a family that we were kind of invited into, and it was really nice. Lotta Ryan, she was one of the producers. She was terrific. She had done stuff for Spielberg, and I don't know if she was on the TV show or not, but a very, very warm person, as was Josh McLaughlin, the first AD, and great grandson of the actor Victor McLaughlin. If you know him, he was in The Quiet Man. He was that real iron-jawed dude. So Josh is his grandson or great-grandson.
Big dude.
Also similar kind of look to him, but just everybody I just really liked, it was a good vibe on that set. One of the funniest things that happened, I remember I walked in and they had a green screen set up. There were some like pipes that somebody had to climb down there. Green screen, and then that was like right next to that was a blue screen, and then a red screen. So they had green, red, and blue all in one frame. And I'm like, wow, what's the deal? I asked somebody like, what? I've never seen this before, where you mix all the colors of the rainbow. And they said, yeah, apparently that it's because of light reflections over here, and blah, blah, blah. So they gave me a technical response. And then I asked the VFX supervisor, and he said, oh, we didn't reserve the screens in time, so I just had to grab whatever I could.
I would say I do too.
would it be possible to just spin your computer so I can see your other props? Do you have any graboids there or any Pennywise?
I'll walk you through well, this is... let's see. This is from here. Let me start over here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this is the Blomkamp alien. He has posted pictures of this, so
cool.
But it was much more based on the '79 alien.
Right. It looks
you can see that, yeah.
With some mods. This little guy is from a movie called Wellwood that we are in the final VFX of. This is from a movie. Is this from the Cleansing Hour, or it's either from the Cleansing Hour or from the Mortuary collection, both of which are out now. It's just a prop we made. Little alien egg right there. Can you see that?
That's so cool.
This is the aforementioned Queen facehugger that we did for Fincher's Alien 3, armored to carry the embryo of Queen Alien. So this is something I did some years ago that was a kind of a Georgia O'Keeffe tribute, like a creature, cow skull, lily, but it was quite an unusual piece until Avatar came out, and then everybody went like, "Oh, is that from Avatar?" I'm like, "Yeah, kinda."
I didn't even really like Avatar. That's the funny thing. I like that better. I think that's cooler.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but I wouldn't go so far as to disagree with it either.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like that.
From my book, Worlds, I did a sci-fi book called Worlds. Some more stills and stuff from various shows.
Awesome.
There's one of me putting makeup on Sigourney Weaver for that scene in Resurrection where she says, "Kill me." See the X-Files pictures particularly up here. This was a design we did for a dragon for a short film, believe it or not. I don't know, a $2 or $3 million short film.
Wow.
Pretty intense for $2 or $3 million. That's crazy.
There's a nice picture of a graboid, and of course the I don't know if I'm naming this. That's the Green Goblin. That was what we were hired for. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Initially, that's was a test because he might have looked like that. That is on our YouTube channel as well. Let's see. There's Bright. The Joel Edgerton. This is our gorilla from Zookeeper. That's our rental gorilla. You can see him in commercials.
Okay.
This head is from Sorry to Bother You. I don't know if you've seen that. No. But Sorry to Bother You is a really fun movie. I recommend it.
I have to mess with my daughter with that head.
That's awesome.
Various, these are just kind of internal things. Here's another internal project. This is a character from a sci-fi script that I've written up. Kind of get it off the ground.
Cool.
And some,
oh my God, the detail is insane.
That guy back there is like a mystic. He's like an alien shaman. And we do miniatures and things here as well. So this actually flies because I wanted to see if I could get a cool-looking flying vehicle that could actually be used as a miniature as opposed to just leaping to the digital solution.
Right.
Awesome.
Aliens and Predators, Queen Aliens. There's the.
Oh my gosh.
That's from AVP R. And then let me see. There's our guy. That's the maquette of the Pred Alien, which we also finished off for our Sideshow Collectibles.
Oh my God.
What else do I have? These are the heads from Point Break, the masks. Those are the
Yeah.
Those are the basic forms of them. I got to paint them up. We scanned the originals that we made, and those are prints, one-to-one prints. But this was a Percy Jackson movie. They asked us to do a Cyclops that looked like a fun surfer dude. There's Kevin Bacon from Hollow Man.
Oh,
cool.
That's one of it. That's just an internal project of a demon character. Here's a little toy stuff. I wonder. Oh, back in there is if you can see it with the reflection. Can you see that little X-Files guy in there?
Tiny bit, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So some of the toys that have been made from our.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Can we come and visit you?
This is so cool.
There is a graboid.
There it is.
It goes on and on. There's lots of stuff.
That's so cool. Thank you for showing us. That was amazing.
That is, oh my God, this stuff is so amazing. You guys are so sickly talented.
Thank you.
It's insane. I mean, I'm so fascinated with it.
Yeah.
Well, when you direct a film that requires this, please don't hesitate to call. I had a conversation with someone just yesterday. It was like, yeah, I hesitated to send you this script because it's only a $2 million movie. I'm like, I don't really care, if it's a lot of times in the smaller films, it gives us, they don't have a digital safety net. They can't afford it. Mm-hmm. So it feels like it's old school to me. Like, and a lot of directors are really into practical, and want to stay as far away from the digital stuff as possible. So that's a great thing. And I mentioned two films, The Cleansing Hour and Mortuary Collection, that are on Shudder right now, that we did effects for, and they're both modest budget films that we had a great time. Both were directed by first-time directors. They're doing well. They're quite good films.
X-Files. What would you like to say to the fans?
Oh, I would say, first of all, thank all X-Files fans, because what was great about the TV show was that each episode was a mini movie, and everybody treated it with the same level of quality as if it were a movie. And a lot of those local artists in Vancouver who deserve a ton of credit for pulling off really great practical effects. That was something that, as digital was rising, you could always point to the X-Files. You could always go, look at the work that's done in the X-Files. That's an example of what we can do, because people, executives have very short memories, and they're not particularly interested in what type of approach to use. But X-Files was a landmark in practical effects, and I'm just so glad without that kind of fan support and those kind of numbers, the show wouldn't have moved on season after season and brought cool stuff. So as an effects guy who didn't work on the TV show, I'm grateful to all those people that did work on it and all those fans that supported it.